A big part of growing up in this life is knowing when you should take risks and knowing when you should just be coasting through life, going through the notions and the phases through life and just letting things happen to you. And I think there is a lot more satisfaction when you know when you could take control. That's why I talk a lot about, traveling young, at least in your 20s, and not waiting until you get to age 30 or 40 to actually start pursuing things like that. Now, this video that we're going to watch is going to be a little uncomfortable for a lot of you because some of you might be getting to this age of the 30s. I know I am. I'm about to turn, 28 soon. Which is why I'm so thankful that I have traveled when I did. It is, a lot of the building blocks of becoming an adult, I feel like I built while I was traveling. So this video, it's not too travel related, but I know it's a big topic for, I'm very interested in the topic of age, and it's very important to not get to a point where we're crashing out because we feel like we didn't do enough when we were younger. And yeah, that's just what we're gonna watch today. This lady's talking in her car. She turned 30, and let's see what she says.
I'm gonna try and be really vulnerable right now as a 29-year-old who is about to turn 30 in a couple of months. I love who I've become as a person, but I feel so far behind. And everything I want seems so far away, and I feel like I have so little time to get there.
Okay, she says she feels like things are so far away and she feels like she has so little time. I feel like you always feel this way in life when when you become a certain age, all your goals and dreams and ambitions seem like so far away that like you don't know what you could do to actually attain those within give or take a 5-year plan. But I believe it's like the little things, the little steps that you take every day and the little goals that you accomplish every day to get closer to that dream that you want to feel fulfilled in your life, in order to do, or in order to feel fulfilled, you want to actually accomplish those dreams. And that's why I make it a big message of my channel to be able to travel young, because you're not going to be completely satisfied with just traveling to one country, or you could adapt this to whatever thing you want to attain in life. This is a travel channel, so I keep it travel focused. But after you travel to that first country, you want to travel to more. um, you know I mean, as a person who is big on exploration, and I like to see myself as a conqueror of sorts. If you're a conqueror, you don't want to just conquer one country; you want to conquer more. But yeah, let's allow this lady to keep speaking.
I just got out of a relationship. I broke up with someone who I thought I was going to marry and have kids with, and I saw my whole future planned out with this person, only for it to be a lie. I don't know what I'm doing anymore. The older I get, the harder dating gets. It's so hard to find like a good, genuine person, and I feel like expired, and I feel so rushed.
Okay, so she's talking about a relationship, but this can be applicable to anything in life that has had you fooled for a very long time. For a long time, we thought, college was going to be able to get us a degree and make us have a successful job for the long run till the end of time, and we just live happily ever after. The whole American dream. And come to find out, that's not always going to be the case for most people. I think I could confidently say most people who went down this path kind of got fooled. And you don't want to get to that point in life where like you haven't seeked out the options enough in your life where you couldn't have seen that coming. But yeah, this lady's talking about a relationship. Clearly this guy kind of like led her on, to make her think that she was gonna live a happily ever after, and now she's 30. So I'm gonna let her finish, but we're gonna talk about what can you do given in this position.
To get everything right and done, and I need to be perfect. I'm turning 30 and no one's gonna love me anymore. I'm not gonna be as pretty. I've had so much trauma happen to me that I don't feel like I'm the same person I was when I was young. I try to be happy, but I'm gonna be honest, I haven't felt happy in a really long time. And sometimes I feel bad about that because I feel ungrateful for the good things I do have in my life. I feel lost and behind compared to everyone else, and they're starting families and having kids and getting married, and it's all I've ever wanted, and I don't know when that's gonna be for me.
Okay, so the thing is, she's comparing herself to her friends. Don't know how close or how, how much of those friends are actually friends, or if they're actually acquaintances. She's probably just seeing, social media posts of what you see online. And as we all know on the internet, you can't really trust everything that you see online. They may seem like they're living, a happy life on the internet, but there's a lot of give and take. That there's no perfect solution when it comes to life. There's only trade-offs. But yeah, let's see if we could let her finish.
Like, when is my time for that to happen? I don't have a lot of friends. I live in a big city, but I feel so alone. I'm in school still, and I'm proud of myself for going back, but it also is so hard. And I believe that, like, God has a plan for me, but sometimes I lose faith in that, and then I feel guilty. I just feel bad that I don't have enough trust in God to, like, figure it out for me.
See, now I think this is a problem that we're all going to eventually face in our lives. We're constantly seeking, that one piece of guidance, that one teacher that will, guide us through life and make us feel like, we're on the right path. And I feel like for most of us, we're not feeling like, we've been guided well enough, especially how they made us, go through 4 or somewhat years of college, and led us down to a path where we feel lost and, kind of left for dead, which is sucky. It is a situation that I see a lot of people crashing out over, and I don't think that's okay. This shouldn't have been the case ever. But where do we go from here is what we want to answer. Where do we go from the position that we feel like, we're in a dead end, and we don't feel like, life has treated us the way that we were told it was supposed to treat us? I say, personally, I would find, if I was 30, I'm about to be 30, what am I saying? But I don't feel like I'm as, lost as she makes it feel like she's lost in this video. And she says that she's Christian and she believes in God. Even, religious people, that's what they have the church for. That's why they have, they get the second opinion when they do find themselves in a situation where they're in disagreements with someone close to them. They have the church to go to. Not sure if she actually goes to church. Maybe she's just reading the Bible. But whether or not that's the case, I do feel like, we always need teachers in our lives. We always need guidance, and we're not always going to stick to the same teacher. The one thing that I can thank college for that there was one teacher that I really ended up looking up to, and I felt like he really prepared me for the harshness of what life was going to be, because he wasn't the type of teacher that would hold your hand constantly. He was more of like a coach that would, push your face in the mud and then like scream at you to get back up. That kind of teacher, and I feel like a lot of teachers today have, they may have coddled this generation so much that they didn't prepare us enough for what the harshness of life is going to be. And, I think that's why I lose a lot of friends, because of how, like, harsh I am with people sometimes. You don't want to be friends with these types of people, because they're not going to, you gas up your ego all the time. They're going to push this reality in your face constantly, so you know what to be prepared for. And what this lady is going through, I feel like a lot of people are going through. A lot of people are crashing out. A lot of people don't know what to do with their life. And I hope to be that type of person to actually, be that guidance for people, hopefully. Because I feel like I do have a lot to show people. A lot of things that people might not have been aware of before, but now after seeing my channel, maybe they see that there's a bit more to this life than you know originally was given to them. This is my message for the channel. I want people to explore their options and know exactly what they're getting out of their lives. Know that you could be getting a lot more for what you put into this life. And that's definitely something that I feel like a lot of people are missing. And I hope this lady is able to get the guidance that she needs to actually dig herself up out of this situation. And I hope my message gets out to younger people, because I feel like sometimes when you get a message that you wish you had before, it might be too late. It might be too late for that. But hopefully we aren't all finding ourselves in this kind of situation and pickle. But that's all I really wanted to say for this video. So if you guys got something out of this video, please leave a like. And if you watched this far in this video, thank you very much. By you watching to the end of these videos, it helps me out in the algorithm. So I duly give you my thanks for that. And if you have any thoughts on this situation, leave a comment. Do you think the right kind of teachers are important for us when we're growing up in this kind of world? Let us know. Did you get a good teacher while growing up? And if you like this kind of content, please subscribe. And yeah, that's it for this video. Peace.